I pray to see how I shall shout the honors to the elders, honors to the apostles, preaching, teaching the word of truth. I'm gonna get this video here. Something I was going into last night about the ICE. The sustainable development these elites want to bring. Now, when you go back a couple of years back, Trump mentioned he gave a speech a couple of years ago in August 31st, 2016. He gave his speech in the rally about having the proper tracking system. That sustainable development. That's the term of the New World Order now. That's what they call it. Calling it now. I've been calling it now for a couple of years now. Oh, that's what the whole third ward is about as well. So I'm gonna get Daniel 2. KJB 43. And whereas thou soldest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Because this woman was all into it yesterday in this documentary she put all this information on about it. And she went into how Donald Trump is also, he's an insider. We already know that. To further back that up, I mean, you go into the word MAGA, that's the number 5 for, and the Church of Satan, that's MAGA, is the highest level. It's the 5th. The highest level is the 5th level you can get in the Church of Satan. I'm gonna ask Google here. Church of Satan, highest level. The highest level in Church of Satan is the 5th degree, designated as MAGA or Magus. This top tier represents the elites, recognized members of the priesthood, who hold significant influence and expertise in the philosophy. That's the highest level in the Church of Satan is MAGA. It means 5 in Latin. The 5th degree. Makes sense because the pentagram has 5 points on it as well. So that's showing you right there what Trump is about. That's why the scriptures say about this devil. He calls him the devil. That's the devil. The devil's the devil. And that's why when you go into Trump and what he's doing, Isaiah 19, he shall be given into the hand of a cruel Lord. He saw his hand in hand with Amalek. Now, Trump ain't no Amalekite, but he's an Edomite. But he's in hand with Amalek because they're both 2 peas in the pod. They're both related. Esau came from Amalek. Amalek really came from Esau. That's their progenitors. Edom. Their forefather goes back to Edom, who murdered and blood sacrificed his brother Abel. That's why they got the blood sacrifices. Blood sacrifices, and that's what that goes back to. That cruel Lord. Isaiah 19. Let's get this. 4. I will hand the Egyptians over to the power of a cruel master, and the fierce king will rule over them, declares the Lord Almighty. The waters of the river will dry up, and that's literal. Going into what we did, I spoke on in the last video, showed y'all in the last video, and the riverbed will be parched and dry. The canals will stink, the streams of Egypt will dwindle and dry up. The reeds and rushes will wither, going into how 60% of all America right now is in a drought condition. Farmers ain't trying to farm because they ain't gonna make no money off of it. Got the chemtrails and then blocking the sun. That's those heavy metals, those fertilizers, poisons they put in the soil. It already makes it too hard to grow out anything unless you put more fertilizer in them. That's gonna poison the crop, make it just full of pesticides and poison. Because of the Cargill and those other corporations that make remove the natural fertilizer from these farmers and made them use pesticides as just food of poison. So now when you're eating the vegetables, you're really eating off those poisons, and then it actually damages the soil and destroys the soil. So now it takes more of that poison to just grow the crop because the soil now is too used to using that artificial way of doing things, doing stuff. You see? Yeah, when you go into it, it was in the 1960s. I looked up Texas Weather Modification Program. And so these are all your presidents, once again. This was in the 60s, so whatever president was in office in that time, he was with this. Once again, they were all Edomites. They were all Edomites, so they were all devils, man. Alright. This is a Texas operates active weather modification programs primarily focusing on cloud seeding to enhance rainfall and suppress hail in arid regions like West and South Texas. And that shit makes it worse. It makes it worse. But really, that wasn't what it was for. They're not going to tell you what it was for. It's really to block the sun and spraying poisons, spraying that fake ass water. That really has no nutrients in it. It's just gonna make the crop even less fertile and nutrient dense. That's why you eat those vegetables. Rarely get any nutrients from them because those poisons and then the chemtrails and then the fake rainwater they spraying is not giving them the life they need to give you the nutrients, to produce the nutrients, give you the food you want to get for the nutrients. You also had a couple years, like early last year, you had in the beginning of Trump's presidency, you had RFK. He was investing in CRISPR, which is a gene editing company. While his Children's Health Defense nonprofit vilifies the technology. Yeah, CRISPR is a genetic engineering technique that allows scientists to modify an organism's DNA. So this is who you're dealing with. That's why the scriptures say, can you make a crooked thing straight? Job, and also in Ecclesiastes, that which is crooked cannot be made straight. Esau was made to be the enemy, the bad guy, hence why even President Truman, and you're going back to your, let me get this first. Basically what I want to say is when you go back to the founding fathers, I guess you can call them of America, the wicked founding fathers of this wicked state of America. And that's why you, like Jake's had no reason to be joining hand in hand with this devil. Why? Because this is what he's doing. This is what he's did. We're exposing him. We've already been exposing him. Yeah, many brothers already came out with all kinds of other documents. I ain't even mentioned it, and other things we none of us have even mentioned, or we ain't even thought of yet, because we got all kinds of things that this devil's done. And you go into the George Jefferson. They call him one of the most. Still call him the most famous Freemason. Even when you Google it here, I Googled it, and they even gave an honest answer and said, yes, George Washington was a Freemason. Yeah, he was a Grand Master. Benjamin Franklin, too. When you go into the Bill of Rights, James Madison. That was proposed by James Madison. People, you simple as Edomites, white crackers always bring this up too. The Bill of Rights, Look, man, James Madison wrote the Bill of Rights. He was a Freemason, man. Now, he didn't ever say he was a Freemason, but he associated with a lot of the founders, founding fathers who were founders that were Freemasons. Now, you ain't going to be around people like that if you don't agree with them. Therefore, he was a Freemason. He was wicked just as much as they were. And this one says 7 of them. There's the many founding fathers, or whatever. I don't even like calling them fathers. Really, that's off. Shit's off. Our only father is Yahweh, but just so you can get an idea, just so you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you get the point. But yeah, they say like 13 of them were Freemasons. And Terry Truman here, I got a quote from him. I'm gonna say, he was also a famous Mason. He says, although I hold the highest civil honor in the world, I have always regarded my rank and title as a past Grand Master of Masons my greatest honor that had ever come to me. And there's a photo of him in a hat, a right hat with the moon god is on it, and his uniform form, his whatever you call that, I forgot. His Masonic apron. So you get the point, man. And you go to Amalek. When you go into I googled once, what does Amalek represent? It says, what is the spiritual meaning of Amalek? In Jewish tradition, Amalek represents pure evil, or those who have given themselves over to the Sitra Akra, the dark side of impurity. And that's these elites for you, man. That's your Freemasons for you, man. That's your presidents for you, man. Alright, man. So get with the bad loss. But yeah, go back to this Revelation 12 and 12. That's why Trump is that cruel Lord once again. He's no different. He's once again going back to the MAGA, the fifth degree. So he's just carrying on the tradition. Yeah. All your presidents was amazing, man. All of them were hand in hand, tied in with the Amalekites, man. Once again, Amalek represents the Jewish tradition. They even say he represents pure evil, those that have been given over to the dark impurity, dark side of impurity, man. All right, so fuck. I'm done dealing with you wicked, simple ass, stupid Edomites. You still got your mice that think that's all. They think the Bible is all real. I mean, they think the Bible is all love and goodness, and that you're just liars, man. You're just liars, you bunch of devils, man. You're just a bunch of liars, man. You're just a bunch of liars. That's what I'm saying. You're a bunch of liars. You have not. You have your founding fathers are all devils, man. You have nothing to do with the Bible, the scriptures that the Lord bestowed upon me and upon His man. You're all a bunch of devils, man, and that's what it is. The scriptures have nothing to do with you. You used that book to destroy us, but you had not. Lord tells you, who are you to declare my statutes? You think I'm as you. I'm gonna destroy you, the Lord says. So that's just a rebuke on you fucking Edomites. You Edomites. Excuse my language, yeah. Those fucking Edomites. It's Revelation 12 and 12. This is what your devil president's about to do to you devils, man. He's going to bend you over. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Because this is judgment on Jake too. Scripture said, also does say, it shall begin in the house of the Lord. The Lord shall start in the house of his house. 1 Peter 4:17, if I'm not mistaken. It shall begin in the house of the Lord. But that don't matter. The Lord ain't forget about you Edomites, and you're gonna get judged too. The scriptures also say, thou thoughtest, you shall not drink of the cup, you shall drink of the cup. I pull that up. Lamentations 4 and verse, right. Lamentations 4 and verse, 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land, because the cup also shall pass through unto thee. And this was right after the Lord got finished judging his people. The cup shall also pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. Yeah, because Jake's already had been getting judged. And so when the economic collapse happens too, Jake is still going to be getting judged. But then when the third war happens, and also all in between that, Jake's are going to be fucking Edomites up too. Jacob's gonna join with the tribes, and they're gonna join up and fuck you Edomites up. And then when World War III comes, you're really gonna see that America did not give a fuck about you Edomites, their own Edomites either. You Edomite people, they didn't give a shit about you, man. The Lord's gonna recount for all you've done. You got old ass Edomites still living right now that hang the Jakes, might have Yeah, no, I might have. They did hang Jakes, and they old. They're old, and they think they're about to die in the grave in peace. You're gonna live to see your own ass get fucked by your people, buddy. And then you're gonna come back and keep getting judged and repent for your evil iniquities, man. Anyway, 22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will punish thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. The Lord's gonna discover your sins, man. You're gonna come back and get judged. So the point there I wanted is Trump is destroying his people. And you jakes are still going to get judged. Russia still is involved and shit is still popping off right now, right about now. Yeah. I'm gonna read this off of what I had here. More of this here. So yeah, Trump mentioned back then in like 11, 12 years ago, he mentioned that he's gonna bring in a proper tracking system. There's Job 15 and 20. The wicked who oppress others will be in torment as long as they live as your higher up elites. Voices of terror will scream in their ears and robbers attack when they think they are safe. Yeah, you might think you're safe. You're not safe. To your old ass Edomite, to your younger Edomite that hanged niggas back in that time, or them old ass Edomites that still remember when they hanged the nigga, and now they on YouTube talking and speaking with their red ass. They have no hope of escaping from darkness, for somewhere a sword is waiting to kill them, and vultures are waiting to eat their corpses. They know their future is dark. Disaster, like a powerful king, is waiting to attack them. This is what the fate of those who shake their fists at Yahweh and defy the Almighty, and that's what you Edomites did by oppressing His people. Yeah, you might not have personally attacked the Lord and did something to the Lord, so you're all good, right? They think he thinks he's all good, but yeah, you did something to the Lord by fucking his people up. They are proud and rebellious. They stubbornly hold up their shields and rush to fight against Yahweh. They are the ones who captured cities and seized houses whose owners had fled. War will destroy those cities and houses. A billion of new. Okay, so yeah, that's the point. That's the end of the scripture I had, and it goes on more. But yeah, but war will destroy those cities and houses. Yeah, this third war being brought upon them by the Lord Yahweh, who the Lord Yahweh is putting in them to bring. But still, it's gonna fuck a lot of you Edomites up. Water. 40 billion on new immigrant centers. It says here. Those would be the female camps. I mean female camps. It says here 40 billion on new immigration centers. That's what the Trump just spent on ICE bought space at Social Circle, Georgia. Yeah, you can look that up. Social Circle, Georgia, in late January to early February 2026. The city wishes it hadn't. Federal government paid under 129 million. Paid basically 129 million. It's an over 1 million square foot box with semi truck loading docks. In Pennsylvania, in early February this year, ICE under the Trump administration bought another warehouse for 87 million of 520,000 square feet. So that's a $40 million budget on the Trump administration approved for ICE to start to buy space for these immigration centers they have. Also, they bought a 1,500 bed 1,500 beds in this one processing facility bought by ICE for 70 million. That houses 15,000 beds and 1,500 beds. And you have some facilities that can house 10,000. Like I think at that 1 square foot building with 100, like this one in Social Circle, Georgia, for 100 million square foot space there. I think for that one they could probably fit in 10,000. They're probably gonna put in 10,000 beds in that one. Put like 10,000. Be able to put like 10,000 people up in there. But yeah, this one they bought also around the same time in late January, January 29th to be exact. And I remember I brought this out middle of last year because this guy spoke on it. The channel, the guy spoke on it. Call for an uprising. That dude went into that how this ICE. He was speaking around that time. That was when ICE was really coming in on Jake. We started speaking on that. If you remember, if you brothers remember last year. But around the summertime, mid-summer, around like August, it was starting to really come on down on Jake, northern tribes. And yeah, around that time, the dude was mentioning how basically they really ain't there to get you musical rights out of here. That ain't documented. That's just a cop out. It's just a bluff. But they're gonna come really gonna come to buff up all you Americans, man. All you Americans, all you people here in America, whether you're white, black, or whatever, they're gonna come for all of y'all. Yeah, Jake is. Yeah, this judge is really gonna fall on Jake, and Jake is gonna get judged. But the Lord just said there, man, he doesn't even give a shit, man. After he's finishing judging Jake, man, he's gonna come for you heathens, man. Especially once the Yahushua comes back. Jake's not gonna have to get fucked up anymore. He's gonna come for you. You just got Lamentations 4. Rejoice, so daughter, eat him. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. You old ass Edomites that remember hanging niggas to you young Edomites, man. That's hanging a nigga in the past life. Walking around here unscathed still, as of right now. walking out here unscathed still. And I wouldn't even say still yet. You're not unscathed. Your judgment's written, buddy. That's your judgment's written. Your judgment's written, bro. Anyway, it says these are just some of the 7 warehouses mentioned that cost them a 690 million in total money. Yeah, that was they just spent. They've probably been buying more. It's just not on the news now. But earlier this year, they bought like eight warehouses that cost them like close to 1 billion, almost like 1 billion. But they still got like 39 billion. They still got 39 billion to spend on more warehouses they're gonna be buying out. Yeah, and there's only so many Issacharites immigrants here. This is really good. So this is really gonna. The common sense tells you just add the pieces, add the dollar bill, all CNI behind a dollar bill, and add this together. Just common sense. Just common sense. They're just using common sense, simple common sense. They're gonna be using this on you Americans, because the wicked don't give a fuck. The wicked will kill whoever they need to kill. That's the elite. They're gonna kill whoever they need to kill to get their agenda going, flowing, moving. Everybody's gonna get judged. Everybody, children, even children, old, everyone's gonna get judged. It's just Jake might get it worse, and certain Jakes might get it even worse. He's been scoffing and mocking. Jumping down to, yeah, once again, these are just 7 of, really it was 8, but it put 7 there. Warehouses mentioned that cost them 690 million in total money. They plan more to come with a budget of 38 billion to boost detention capacity to 92,000 beds in total. Yeah, and really that's gonna be more than 92,000. ICE is now the largest funded U.S. law enforcement agency, all from inside the White House. Thanks to the Trump administration. Well, this is good. This is good. I'm not complaining. Y'all who don't have the Lord, you're the ones gonna complain because you really don't have this right spirit in you. That's why you're gonna be complaining. Now, when you go into Tom Homan here, when you look him up, Tom Homan, in early 2026, Tom Homan served as Donald Trump's border czar, a top advisor leading the administration's immigration crackdown and mass deportation initiatives. Appointed in late 2024, Homan acts as a key enforcer, including being deployed to Minneapolis in January 2026 to manage on the ground enforcement. Yeah, so he's basically the head of all that. Look at, he's the head of all of this. Yeah. ICE and CBP. CBP is I believe they're the Central Border Patrol or something like that. Yeah, and then it says here, so that's all thanks to Trump, the cruel Lord. Once again, that's why we got Isaiah 19, or I got Isaiah 19 there. ICE is the, I forgot what it stands for. Immigration Central Enforcement, something like that. So ICE is basically they're the real new dystopian police state. That's what I call them. They're really going to be the new police, the surveillance state. They're going to be the new law enforcers to handle that. It's just taking legals, keeping. So ISIS has been known for, they've been rumored to be taking legals, keeping them for however long. The government wishes in signing more ICE officers soon as this happens. Yeah, they're signing more officers. And once again, while this was happening, while this was getting more recognition as well, you had the Iran. All of a sudden, on late February, the Iran and U.S. Israel popped off. And these are also things that Trump did. Along with that, he greenlit the Palantir, which is a large master database. He approved the building of 8 new mega data centers. He approved the 8 new mega detention centers for ICE. Yeah, he gave them 40 billion in budget for that. The CBP, as a Central Border Patrol, about access to clear views 60-bit image facial ID system. I spelled that wrong. Yeah, 60-bit image facial ID system, and the DHS, that's Department of Home Security, is now demanding names of social media users critical of ICE. And then you got the ICE agents threatening on the streets. It's videos of them on the streets threatening those people, recording them to put their faces on domestic terrorist databases. Their domestic terrorist database. Yeah, the guy mentioned how he's gonna put. He was recording her face and telling her how he's gonna put her in their nice database, something like that. So yeah, we already are in that surveillance state right now. It's gonna go in. That's going into the family of the world. Word that's gonna come is this is all linking to X84. I'm gonna get that in a minute. When you go into it as well, it says here. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some scriptures here. So let's do this one. Well, this Psalm 68. Never mind. Psalm 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. That's Esau for you. We already got Revelation 12 and 12. That was going to come down to us, to you having great wrath. Because he knows he has a short time. This is all linking to Revelation 13 as well. That one world currency that tracking everybody, microchipping everybody. And the privacy and the sovereignty. One global currency or one digital currency. Revelation 2 and 10. Now, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer the devil. Behold, the devil. It was the devil once again. The so called white man. The Edomites, they're not white, they're red. Shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. Certainly, the elect is going to fall into one of those prisons. They got 10 prisons scattered across the U.S. who are on the list. Some of them they might just have to kill. Others they'll have to be taken to prison. And you shall have tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. Now that 10 days there, it could be any amount of days. It's not a literal 10 days. It could be, but it just means complete. We don't know how many days, if a brother's in there, how long he'll have to be in there for. Or for any of us, how long, if that's our lot, we don't know how long we'll have to be in there for. We'll just have to be in there for. But yeah, this is linked back to. So you got the Amtrak routes as well. The rail lines also have checkpoints to these facilities. Yeah, when you look into a map of these Amtrak rails, and then the facilities that I.C.E has, they link right next with each other. The rail lines literally inside the like the facility or close right next to it. You could also look up for yourself this documentary entitled "Conspiracy Theory." There's a show called Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, where he exposed prison camps across America. That came out a couple of years back. But even that gives you an idea of that. And then you got his recent interview where he was visiting Roosevelt High School. I might even pull that up here.
Then I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf, right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the tactics of what happened in 1930s Germany to what's happening here. Read history. You learn from history. Anytime you have the loss of life that needlessly happens, that's tragedy. And what occurred yesterday did not have to happen.
So there you got a man there speaking there. And they got this comment that says to us, it's because our country is under an invasion caused by crooked politicians. No, it's not just politicians, it's president and everybody. What was it? Your CEO of corporations, and even your other presidents and governors outside of, from these other countries too, as they're hand in hand. And I remember yesterday I read a comment on how basically this guy said that America's basically what those Americans today, they're basically what the U.S. was with Iraq or Afghanistan back in that time, like something like that. Now, when you go into X-84, X-84 is an acronym for Readiness Exercise of 1984 Bravo. I got this excerpt from in details from this news article. It came out in 1986 by Joe Roos, which was titled "The Plan to the Silent Descent from the Soldier" in this article. Before that, gotta get this article here. Isaiah 20. Psalm 10. For the wicked through the pride of his consonants will not seek after Yahweh, the power. The power is not in all his thoughts. The power there is Yahweh. Y'all call God. Yeah, because when you go into David Rockefeller, there's been an interview where he was asked if he believes in God. He said no, he does not believe in God. Psalm 10 and 11. He has said in his heart, the power have forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. To where 13, wherefore doth the wicked contemn Yahweh? He hath said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the help of the fatherless. Psalm 14 and 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no power. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works, there is none that doeth good. Psalms 94. 9. He that planteth the ear shall he not hear, he that formeth the eyes shall he not see, he that chastiseth the heathen shall he not correct, he that teaches man knowledge shall not he know. Yeah, so the Lord has a judgment for these wicked elites. I got Proverbs 16, 1 through 13 in NIV. The preparation of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord way of the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. Just like they did back in the Tower of Babel, they joined hand in hand. They got judged. The Lord wasn't dealing with that. 6. By mercy and truth iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord man depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. And divine sentence is in the lips of the king, his mouth transgresses not in judgment, a just weight and balance. 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Yeah, and this throne the wicked elites put up and established in righteousness. It says right there, it's an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. Yeah. Someone may die if the king becomes angry with him, so a wise person will try to stop the king's anger. If the king smiles at you, all your life will go well. If he is pleased with you, that is like a cloud which gives rain in the spring. It is better to have wisdom than gold or silver. You should want to understand what is right. Yeah, that's why the boy calls this devil crooked. Crooked, he can't be made straight. So going back to this, from this excerpt from this article here, anyway, it says assigned by Reagan. It says to arrest in an event of a domestic state national security, citizens will be a threat. Similar to highly classified document named NSDD, signed by Reagan in '84, and FEMA was a part of that too as well. NSDD. This was called National Security Decision Directives, were official numbered policy directives by President Ronald Reagan to guide national security, defense, and foreign policy. Over 300 directives covering topics from nuclear strategy to public diplomacy. Let's see here. I'm gonna ask this. Okay, this NSDD, National Security Decision Directives, issued by President Reagan, once again had established policies for gathering information on individuals, specifically focusing on government employees, foreign intelligence targets, and personnel abroad. Reagan also signed Executive Order 12333, which became a primary authority for collecting vast quantities of data on Americans. Individual NSDDs targeted specific groups for international security and counterintelligence. There you go. So this goes. They've been spying on you, their own people, on innocent Americans. Well, not innocent because none of us are innocent, but yeah. In many ways, were a plan to round up and detain thousands of U.S. citizens opposed to the Vietnam War as well. Oh no, this was Operation NSDD was similar to Operation Garden Plot, which was before NSDD. That was to round up and detain thousands of U.S. citizens opposed to the Vietnam War. Also supported by the Ronald Reagan, at the time the governor of California. I'm gonna look that up. Operation Garden Plot was a U.S. Army National Guard contingency plan developed in 1968 to respond to major domestic civil disturbances initiated after 1960s unrest. It provided a framework of federal military forces to support local authorities in controlling riots and disturbances. It was superseded by Con Plan 2502 after 9/11. Got the Patriot Act. The plan was often discussed like conjunction with later exercises like Rex 84, feeding into discussions regarding the role of FEMA and potential civil liberties and restrictions during emergencies. And then it was replaced after 9/11 by U.S. Northcom. Concept Plan, Con Plan 2502. According to Shihan, FEMA would be authorized, along with all state National Guard troops, to arrest, detain, and imprison undocumented Central American immigrants. FEMA officials also are seeking the authority to arrest at the same time U.S. citizens whose names are listed on a classified administrative index kept by the FBI. Those arrested would be detained in the 10 national detention centers located on military bases in the United States, which are now being readied for use. Other operations occurred in 1984. FEMA supervised a secret project named Rex 84, along with Operation Night Train, a simulated U.S. military operations in Central America. Rex 84 tested FEMA's roundup scenario needed to implement the plan. I'm gonna look that up. Operation Night Train. That's right there. That's Project Guido. Operation Night Train primarily refers to a Cold War era biological warfare. A significant military exercise held in 1983, early 1984, involving the aftermath of a simulated nuclear attack or coordination with FEMA. Yeah, and what are they gonna do in those things? They're gonna gather up those that think it's Project Cypher. Oh, dude, what the fuck? Project Cypher. Just looking at this. Uh, Project Cypher. This is most commonly refers to a high altitude pseudo satellite HAPS program utilized by U.S. military for long endurance surveillance. Yeah, this goes into surveillance, tracking people, goes into trafficking people. While I'm at it, I'm gonna look this up. This ratification's sake, the Project Megiddo. It says here Project Megiddo was a report research written by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation under Director Louis Free. So they're not even giving really much information on it. Yeah, Project Megiddo was so I put what was the purpose of the U.S. Project Megiddo? Project Megiddo was a 1909 FBI strategic assessment aimed at analyzing and forecasting potential domestic terrorism threats within the United States surrounding the turn of the millennium Y2K. It warned that extreme groups, including white supremacists, militias, and apocalyptic cults, might commit violence due to beliefs surrounding the year 2000. Megiddo is derived from the hill in Israel associated with the biblical Armageddon, symbolizing the final battle. Yeah, just going more into how you can't be speaking against this system basically. That's really what it's going into. I mean, you do have organizations that's bug out and wicked and weird, but most of those dudes they're funded by the same government. Government really they're hiding who they're making you think that other guys people are the bad guys. Really, they're the same bad guy, but they're the bigger bad guy behind the scenes, paying off those other bug out cult people like Charles Manson and shit like that. They funded him. He really was a CIA MK Ultra victim, man. That's what all he was. He had ties into that as well. They say. But yeah, it also basically goes into I think the elders went into it deeper in the one video, older video. Anyone's, even if you, I think it went into it in the document too. Anyone who speaks against the New World Order or believes in it, you're basically labeled in that list. You may just they may just not tell you, but you're on the list. If you hold guns, you believe in owning guns, you're on the list too. You're anti-war. Those that go and protest for Palestine, you're on the list too. So anyway, it says here, ICE is also stockpiling weapons from private contractors and approved contracts of 144 million in weapons, ammunitions, and related accessories from 2024 to 2025. It was a 360% increase of their budget to spend on weapons, tens of millions of lethal weapons, thousands of AR rifles, pistols, optical sights, and suppressors. So that was how much they spent on that. Millions of $30 million of ammunition they spent. $25 million for so-called less lethal weapons and crowd devices, crowd control devices such as tasers, pepper sprays, tear gas canisters, and canister launchers. Government data shows that the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and CBP, Customs and Border Protection, during the first year of President Trump's second term have accumulated 144 million worth of weapons. By now, it's probably more. And the department strive to actively deploy, rapidly recruit dozens of troops, agents around the country. And then that's also why early 2026, late 2025 last year, you were having ICE going to trial for having a bad recruiting process. To answer for that, nothing happened though, basically, really, because the one that's in power want are with this. They're with the plan. They're with this way they was doing things. They that was really just a training ground, a testing ground. And soon they're going to be arresting those that who they deem is speaking against them, openly against them. They're going to come for those people like that too. If you got anything on that on your social media, they may come and get you, arrest you. Uh, they're gonna come for you and arrest you. They come for brothers and arrest brothers. It says, and records show these contracts plan even greater spending in the future. So once again, man, just going into that, you can think that ICE ain't got nothing to do with that, but recently on the news, 11 hours ago, is from the Guardian. It says Cuban immigrant dies. I just put ICE in Google. Cuban immigrants dies in Georgia detention center. ICE tells Congress. You recently had an anti-ICE rally in Hempstead Village. 2 high school basketball players released after being detained by ICE. House adapts Senate approved budget resolution to block ICE funding. 2 hours ago, man shot 7 times by ICE agents indicted in alleged assault on federal officers. And so this is still going on. Just keep your eyes out. I mean your eyes out on this on ICE. Soon ICE may just be the new. I think they are the new FEMA or police, and really I think they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be rounding up the elect. I'm gonna go here. It says ICE and Border Patrol weight funding as record long. The Department of Homeland Security shutdown ends.
Restoring money for the Coast Guard and TSA. It does not include money for ICE and Border Patrol. Lawmakers are working on a separate plan for those agencies. The president expects that package on his desk by June.
By June, he says, so look out for June. That, I mean, that's the point. Start warming the border.